Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to talk to you real quick about just some different ways that the monopoly graph can look here. And so if you notice this this graph here, where it's got this downward sloping ATC and it never bows back up. Well, this is a specific example, and sometimes you see it where the MC and the ATC are actually the same and they're flat. And what's going on here is that this is what we call a natural monopoly, and it allows us to, I just want to explain for a second how this works, because natural monopolies sometimes are a phenomenon that they occur. We think of monopolies as bad for consumers, but some industries are appropriate for a natural monopoly. In particular, think of like BG&E. Think about the people that provide electricity to your house. And the reason that a monopoly kind of occurs like BG&E is because it functions like a natural monopoly. Think about if you wanted to open up a BG&E, what you'd have to do. You'd have to dig lots and lots of trenches to run lots and lots of cable. You would have to put up lots and lots of telephone poles, run tons and tons of wire. So if you wanted to do this, those costs would be incredibly large. And for the most part, those are fixed costs, right? Like running all those wires doesn't have anything to do with the amount of output that you're necessarily going to get. You're just running those wires as a necessity to running your business. And so those fixed costs are incredibly high. So what you see with your natural monopoly is that over time, what's occurring to your average total cost? They're diminishing, because what's happening is you're spreading those fixed costs, those one-time costs of laying all those wires, putting up all those telephone poles across a larger and larger quantity of output, more and more electricity being supplied or produced or carried along those wires. Same can be said for public water. You know, you go through, you set up all the culvert pipes and all the water mains to transport all of this water. Think about a competitor. They would have to redo all of that work and incur all of those costs. So we get what's called a natural monopoly here. And all it is you get this downward sloping ATC curve, and it just never intersects, or well, it does eventually intersect with your MC curve. And sometimes they show it, okay, that the MC and the ATC actually intersect, and they just are like a flat line. In the idea being that the marginal cost and the average total cost are now the same over time, because those fixed costs are essentially spread so thinly across the quantity of output. But don't worry about how this thing looks, just follow the same rules here. So here's what they got unregulated, they've got average cost pricing, marginal cost pricing. Take a look, see if you can figure these 4 questions out. This would be a good test for you. One other thing that I wanted to talk about here, unregulated, another term that you can sometimes see, and I can't write on this, so another term that you can sometimes hear used is called a single price monopoly. A single price monopoly is just an unregulated monopoly, is a profit maximizing monopoly, that they have one single price that they would charge, as opposed to being a price discriminating monopoly, which could charge many prices, as I talked about in the last video. So I just wanted to show you this graph. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up the answers to this so that you can check yourself. So here are your 4 questions, all right? And then I'll pop the answer up. Hopefully, look at that, okay? And you can test yourself and see how you did, okay? All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any problems. Talk to you later. Bye.